Hey everyone, happy Game of Thrones Monday. We got some things to talk about today. JR, was there something that happened over the past couple days at all for Game of Thrones or
I don't know, Kyle. I've been under a rock and I have not seen anything as of lately, but I am glad to say that the hype train is definitely leaving the station for 2019.
we got our first Game of Thrones season 8 footage?
We did. From the Golden Globe Awards or Emmys, which was it last night?
I believe it was the Golden Globes.
The Golden Globes. Okay, well, we'll go with that then.
Rami Malek won Best Actor for Bohemian Rhapsody. Apparently, I haven't seen
Excellent.
it yet. Yeah,
I know that was one that was on my list big time that I wanted to go see, and with the move and everything, I just haven't had time to go see much. I still haven't even seen Aquaman. So yeah, bad me.
I still haven't even seen Aquaman. I'm behind on everything. I've been doing the family thing. I'm even behind on Vikings. Jeez, behind on everything. But today we're not going to be behind.
We are ahead of the curve.
We were ahead of the curve. We're here, and we'll cheers you. I got a new mug here. A House Targaryen Stein, really nice.
And I'll cheers you back with coffee on the Iron Throne.
and we had a pre-stream donation, morally flexing again with that $25 Americans. That's a sweet mug too, JR. Are we?
Yeah, that was a Christmas present. I like the dragon on the back. I don't know if anybody can see that. It's kind of hard, but
I think I saw that one on Amazon. It was one that I really liked, but we're going to be doing an unboxing at some point this week. We got a gift from Andy Burnett. He donated it's amazing. I showed JR behind the scenes what it is. It's going to come in the mail.
Yeah, Andy Burnett's the man. That's
Andy Burnett's the man, but we got an unboxing to do at some point this week, and we'll add it to all our cool gear over here. But anyways, what we're gonna do today is we're gonna talk about it. It was only 8 seconds long, I believe, or 7 seconds long, but we got a little snippet of the opening scene for Game of Thrones season 8. Very exciting. I mean, me and you have discussed this already. We have discussed the possibilities of the opening scenes, JR, and we discussed that Sansa and Dany meeting and Dany arriving at Winterfell would probably be the first scene.
Right, we did. We predicted quite a few videos worth of what's going to happen episode to episode. And this is one of the reunions that we were looking forward to because it's uncharted territory. Dany's never met Sansa. John's returning. The way this scene is set up, it looks a little ominous, like what is going on here. Yeah, go ahead and do your breakdown, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, there isn't a ton, right? But obviously, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, Sansa looks really pissed off. She's gonna kill Daenerys, or betray Daenerys, or betray Jon, or betray every single member of her family." That's where people are going with that. I mean, if a dragon queen is coming to Winterfell, is Sansa gonna openly be like, "Hey, like Jon is there. Sansa is not gonna openly betray Jon." And no. Even if it was on Sansa's mind at this specific moment about somehow undermining Jon or acquiring power, she would still have to do all this behind the scenes anyways. She couldn't do it out in the open. So being a vassal to the queen, you can't just, of course she's going to say that, right? Winterfell is yours. What else is she going to say?
Well, I disagree. I think it's cut in a manner that it's not the complete scene. We're not getting everything in that. I actually think that because of the choppy nature of the way that it's cut, it's actually edited to build more drama. I don't think it's really there. I think Sansa is honestly yielding Winterfell back to Jon as she should and would upon his return, right? And I think it's just chopped and cut, and there's so many switchbacks of the cameras that it's invoking more drama than is actually going on. I think it's going to be a really mundane scene because
Dany's not even saying anything. She's just like, so I totally get that too. And Jon is the king in the north. So Jon put Sansa in charge in his stead while they went and did their thing.
Correct.
And she does say it in a way where it's like, kind of snooty. It does seem like that, but I don't know. here's how I'm thinking about it. There's going to be 2 episodes of like fake news drama, and then there's going to be 3 episodes of war, and then the final episode where everything is wrapped
Yeah,
up.
if you didn't like the Sansa Arya crap plot from last season, sorry about your luck. You're going to get it again.
Yeah, so there's gonna be 2 episodes where there's all this tension and all of that, and all these things happen, and we're all like debating whether someone's gonna betray this person or that person, or this is gonna swing this way or that way. Then there's 3 war episodes, or 3 big climactic episodes, and then we're gonna get the final episode where everything is wrapped up. So I think that there has to be moments like this leading on where or leading us towards these things that aren't necessarily going to happen. I'm not saying that there isn't a chance that Sansa betrays Dany, but I mean, explain to me how this is going to go down. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I just think the hate for Sansa is out of control, man. Like, some of the stuff that we were seeing was just like absurd.
Oh, it was absolutely absurd and highly inappropriate at any level. Some of it, I was just, I was gobsmacked by it. I mean, absolutely gobsmacked.
And then there's all of these arguments. Yeah, well, D&D. I mean, I'm going into this season with just like a fresh mind. This is the last season. This is its own season. Yeah, we have to look at all the seasons collectively and be like, okay, this is the crescendo of a Song of Ice and Fire version, television style Game of Thrones. But I'm trying not to compare too much to other seasons, because I think that this season is going to be its own animal. Right? We're gonna, I mean, especially the 55 days of night shooting and all of that, and then with the less episodes, how are they going to pull everything off? Obviously, is a huge question, JR. But the amount of time that went into this season leaves me optimistic, at least.
Yeah, and there was a lot of time put in this and a lot of depth, and HBO probably made it very, very well known to Dan and Dave. Like, yes, we'll give you this budget, but here's what you must deliver. And you must deliver our ability to spin the next series, the offshoot series that are coming. So I think Dan and Dave were put between a rock and a hard place on this one, and they had to make it what HBO wants and needed to perpetuate Game of Thrones on HBO, to make it a 10, 12, 15-year run of Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Let's read some comments from the chat. And by the way, everyone who's here, you guys and gals are awesome. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you. We got Bill's Bombier. I've not seen you in chat before, but if you've been here, my apologies. Thank you and welcome to you. Let's see what Bill's Bombier has to say. I'm not a game more of a book reader, but I hear so you haven't read the books. You hear the books are better. That's interesting. I think she only said Winterfell is yours, as she would say to any noble guest, not seceding it. This is what vassals do when they welcome higher born lords or ruling lords. So yes, Sasek, thank you for that comment. Mesa, for no matter what Sansa does, people will hate that. Yeah, definitely. Mom Ogre, hello, Talamasca where's Gemma? Gemma's doing her thing today. Family things.
She's cooking dinner right now. Actually, I was literally just talking to her.
It's funny because we were supposed to do the Rethinking Sansa podcast on Friday. Gemma ended up having a throat cold. And it's funny because it's going to happen on Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Gemma's channel. And it's funny that this came out because now we can kind of discuss like, hey, there's not a lot to go on, but it can add to the conversation.
Yes, accents to it.
We got Richard Hoppy. We got Helen's in chat. We got Talamasca Dan, Tam Hutchins, AU Pack Mule, Pandora Stargarian, the prince that wasn't promised. Nicola's in chat. And Sarah Bright Roar, John Taylor. Who else?
Scott McCoy, Tim Hutchins, Helen.
Mia Ice and Fire.
RJ Dracon, I don't know if I've seen you before in chat, but welcome. Peter Griffith. I haven't seen you in a while. Aegon the Conqueror.
We got Aegon the Conqueror.
Aegon the Conqueror's hanging out, so this is going to be great. I suppose it's your 7 kingdoms anyway, right?
People are commenting on your shirt, by the way, at Dropkick Murphys.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen them live in concert before with a great Canadian band called Tragically Hip. Their singer, Gord Downey, passed away from brain cancer a couple years back. Huge icon, Canadian music icon.
Yeah, I'm a huge Dropkick Murphys fan, like big time. Lawrence Corner, who's going to start co-hosting with me on Geek End News Review. Get it? Weekend review, Geek End Review. It's going to be great.
Excellent.
We did an episode yesterday, actually. Art Girl 26.
And by the way, everyone, in the comment section, the description of this video, you can find GeekChat1 YouTube channel and social media Facebook page for GeekChat1.
Misty 306, Michael Smith, Paige Roberts, Infinity 8. And
by the way,
Mara Jade Skywalker and Robbie Meeson, who is commenting on Dropkick Murphys, and it should be Jon Snow's song. I agree.
By the way,
but Dropkick.
Pandora Targaryen. I'm going to be a little conceited here. Name a more handsome duo in the Song of Ice and Fire fandom. Me and JR, handsome. Like, look at these hairs, especially. Come on. Me and JR coordinated this. You know what I'm saying?
No, we didn't.
We didn't.
Stop telling people that. I should thank you for my ridiculous socks today, though, because it's all your fault.
Oh yeah, you ended up getting the My Little Pony socks. Back to the discussion, though. everyone in chat, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. All aboard the hype train. Come on, let's get some hype and love emojis in chat. Fire and heart emojis.
2019, first live of 2019.
So JR, let's kind of like your breakdown on it. What was your thoughts on?
I think it's cut to hype up the drama. I don't think that's what's going on. I think she's actually yielding it back to Winterfell, or yielding Winterfell back to Jon. There's no political advantage for Jon to admit that he's bent the knee in the courtyard of Winterfell. That needs to be done in private council so that he can see who's going to be his followers of the Northern Banners, who's going to reject him bending the knee to Daenerys. And he needs to, he needs to scope out what's going on in the North in his absence. What's happened? What are the reports saying? Where is the Night King? Where's the army of the dead? Jon doesn't even know the wall's been breached at this point. So I think in this first scene here, we're just going to get the reception, but everything is going to happen in the Great Hall of Winterfell. All the information is going to come out about what's actually transpiring.
So do we get like half an episode of reunion, then like boom, Tormund, Beric, whoever come back, or do we get more? Because it doesn't look like we're going to be getting that cold open this year. This is the first scene that's going to happen in Game of Thrones season 8. So a little bit of a spoiler, but
I think we'll get a cold close on episode 1. That's for sure.
So the Night's Watch being wiped out then is your
either Castle Black, Last Hearth, one of the two is going to, or combination thereof. Yeah, I don't think they can do it any other way. I think it'll be a cold close. That's for sure.
Yeah, something like that. Cold close, and then obviously, the Ice and Fire parallels that are going on. We have Jon and Daenerys, who are both Targaryen. We see the warmth of Jon reuniting with Arya. That's a fire element. That's life. And then the episode ends with ice. So kind of starting off with the fire theme in the episode and then ending with ice themes. They've always played on that.
I think it's going to be a big yin yang thing this year too. I mean, if it's, I think episode 2 will be a hot open or a cold open, playing opposite of whatever it is on the episode 1. And I think you're going to keep seeing that dichotomy back and forth between hot and cold.
Bill's Bombier has a great point. Sansa would be crazy to play the Game of Thrones. I pretty much think she's playing ball. The pack survives and the lone wolf dies. Yeah, I'm agreeing with that sentiment. I think that she is going to play with her chips as much as she can within the framework of not betraying her family and all that. So she's gonna she learned from Olenna Tyrell, Cersei, Littlefinger, and others. So she's gonna instead of manipulating people, manipulate the situations to her advantage, where she can so she can best survive. And I don't necessarily think it's all about Sansa, but the health of House Stark.
Correct. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that too. And Sansa, whether people want to admit it or not, and obviously a lot of people don't, because there's a lot of Sansa hate out there right now, and it just makes me love her even more at this point. There, people are like, Sansa. I'm like, you know what? Go and get it, girl. Do what you got to do. But she's honestly the most dangerous player on the board. She's like Cersei,
the dark horse. She's the dark.
Yeah, she is the dark horse, and she's been taught by the game's best. The only one left to X off the board for her is Cersei, which Arya is probably going to help with anyway.
I see her becoming more like Ned without Ned's weaknesses. You know what?
Because she grew up seeing the game for what it was and not ignorant to it in Winterfell. And, love Ned Stark to death. He's a great catalyst for the story, but he was ignorant to the games of the South and correctly assessed that it's the biggest rat's nest he's ever seen. And it absolutely is. And he was ill-equipped to play that game.
Because he wasn't willing to sacrifice honor. He wasn't willing to have any wiggle room on anything. He is someone that, wearing your heart on your sleeve is
and then in the end, when he did, it cost him his head.
Yeah.
When he was trying to barter for Sansa's life with Varys, it ended up costing him his head, right? So maybe if he would have kept the honorable line, maybe it wouldn't have gone the way he did, but that's speculation for another day.
She's also the slowest learner ever. The game will be over before she's realized. I don't think so at all, man. I think that she's well, if we think about Sansa, man, she's like steel. How much has she been through, right? I mean, yes, and then Arya even admitted, I couldn't have survived what you went through. Arya said that? That is like, come on, man. Arya going to a completely different continent on her own. Like, come on, that's badass.
It is, and I disagree with that. Although Talamasca Dan, since he loves being Talamasca Dan, he is now and forever the Hound.
Hashtag Sansa forever in chat, everyone.
Right.
I'm gonna scroll up to Mackenzie. She has a great comment here. One second. Sansa pulls out her inner Cersei in her smug face when saying the words she needs to say. And like I said, she learned a different lesson from all of these different characters. So that is something that we have to consider, right? And
she grew up with the best in the game. She grew up literally seeing the best in the game and playing.
The support system, Scott McCloy, Sansa and Tyrion meeting up again, having someone looking out for you. We kind of have, I think that we're going to have those more bittersweet moments where each of these people kind of lose the person that's most important to them. You know what I mean? Or the person that they admire the most. We can argue that for Tyrion, that would be Jaime or Daenerys. I mean, I think that's Daenerys. Yeah, he cares about what Daenerys has done for him, these kinds of things. Who would that be for Sansa? That's kind of an interesting, look at the look Brienne. We got to talk about Brienne, the look that Brienne is giving behind Sansa. Brienne is incredibly honest. The way she's looking at the situation, like, oh shit, man, like Sansa don't.
I think it's a typical Brienne response, like, oh, okay, this is how we're going to play it. Because she is very good at playing off of whoever she's lent her sword to at the moment. Call it what it is. I mean, she's bounced around, trying to do the honorable thing, but now she's sworn to Sansa. But it's the same look that she gives in every situation almost. That puzzled look of how is this going to play out, or how are we going to play this out?
What power does Sansa have against the Night King? Nothing. Sansa has no Lightbringer. Jon. Jon is literally Lightbringer in the flesh.
And Davos is there.
Mackenzie brings up a great point. Sansa has all these great people around her now. She has Arya, who has a Valyrian steel dagger. She has Bran. And let's say the Night King attacks Winterfell. I think that Jon's going to make it a priority to get people out of there. I mean, especially if they know a dragon is coming, they're going to get some warning of that from Tormund, Beric, however that's going to happen. So I think that there is a possibility she is in a situation like that, but Sandor Clegane as well. We can't forget about that. Sandor has he loves those girls, whether we want to admit it or not.
Yes.
Amicably, not sexually, romantically. He sees them as little sisters.
See, and I'm still on Sansa. So, yeah, I know you say not romantically. I'm still on Sansa.
But by the way, there's Game of Thrones promos for all these different characters. There's been one for Isaac Hempstead, Wright Brand, so one for Jon Snow. There's one for Sandor Clegane. I want to thank Tal Mascadan for sending that to me this morning. I checked it out, and you got to go watch it for yourself. I believe it's on Emergency Awesome's channel, and I think it's posted elsewhere too. But
yeah, Charlie puts out good content, and he puts it out quick.
Yeah, he's got something going on.
Yeah, he does well, man.
Yeah, he does well for himself. But he has a breakdown video if you guys want to go check that out. I'm definitely going to do my own version of that. Like I said, I've had some family stuff going on, so I haven't had as many videos. I want to apologize for that, everyone. But
Jean-Luc Picard, Sansa knows what happened to the breastplate stretcher. That's hilarious.
But yeah, no, if you guys go watch the Sandor one, it's exciting. And then is there one for Sansa yet? I think there is one from Sophie Turner where she talks about kind of her positioning and stuff for Game of Thrones.
There might be. I haven't seen it yet though. Is that you?
No, that's my phone. It's fine. Don't worry about it. They can just leave a message. But yeah, I mean, we'll move off Sansa for a bit here. Where there's other characters in this scene that we have to talk about as well.
Yeah, Brienne. Oddly enough, Tyrion was cut because Tyrion should be right next to Dany because he's on the boat with him.
I'm sure
he is the hand of the queen.
He's got to be there in the scene. We saw Jorah Mormont.
Panning back.
Yeah.
Which Jorah is going to be a great one. Jorah and the Little Bear. I can't wait for that one. That's one that we haven't really talked about.
Lyanna Mormont. Yeah, we haven't talked about Lyanna Mormont that much, right?
And Jorah coming back to Westeros.
Very interesting, him being back in the north.
I think what'll happen is much like Longclaw. He's going to say, "No, my lady, it's yours. I have no part in what happens in Bear Island."
Well, I mean, it's already Jon. See, for giving it to you. It's passing it down through your family someday. That I don't know. That's got to be foreshadowing for Jorah, like protecting Jon or dying or something.
Or Daenerys and Jon having
kids.
Exactly. It's going to be whatever it is. But if this is actually the opening scene, that means I'm inherently disheartened and mad right off the bat. Chrissy of Old Stones, my mod in crime. Thank you for dropping so many links.
Did you just say mod in crime? I love that.
Yeah, that's the big joke between her and I on everybody that we mod for. We always go through, and whenever one of us sees each other, it's always my mod in crime.
We do love ourselves some Chrissy of Old
Stones. Absolutely. So that's the disappointing part for me is that we're not going to get White Harbor. So we get no Wolves Den. We get no Sir Too Fat to Ride. It's kind of sad to me. I really wanted to see White Harbor. Especially since I cut out the Davos going there to, find Rickon and Skagos, all that storyline. Yeah. Like, it's kind of sad. I was really holding out that we would see White Harbor. That's where they would land in the north.
The one thing is, though, I mean, like Davos, he's got a great storyline, man. Obviously, the books is different. He's with Stannis, and Jon kind of took over Stannis' storyline. I believe that Stannis is going to get this part in the books. Battle for Bastards, all that. But Davos is he is going to have a big one. I think he's getting old. I think he's going to be one of those people that dies of old age like Maester Aemon. He's just got that kind of vibe to him.
Yeah, Talamascadan, it's coffee. It's actually Black Rifle Coffee Company Gunship coffee.
I also have coffee in here. I have a Bulletproof, if you know what Bulletproof coffee is. I got some
we got Gunships and Bulletproof. We're great.
Why
don't we get one of those stupid zombie memes right now? Like, you get what's to the left of you. Well, I have Bulletproof coffee. Oh, yeah? Well, that's great. I've got Gunship coffee.
I got some heavy cream in here. It's supposed to have fats. Heavy cream. I got turmeric. I got cinnamon. A little bit of cocoa powder. Some dark coffee. It's a dark roast. It's called Kicking Horse. Really good.
Kicking Horse Dark Horse. Okay.
Yeah.
As we talk about the Dark Horse, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Clever. Very clever.
So, what we should do? It's what, 3:16. we've been going for almost half an hour. Should we open it up to some open questions, awesome comments, and then we can kind of just go from there?
Yeah, we can do that.
And by the way,
what's coming up next for your channel?
Next we are going to be well, I'll be going on Gemma's channel on Wednesday. Right. Finally releasing the brand video tomorrow. That's going to be going down. My brand preview for season 8. Really kind of talking about some of the things that I spoke about in my God's Eye video, but with some different kind of looks. And then I got a Sandor Clegane video coming out this week, talking about the promo that I spoke about earlier. I'm going to do some season 8 previews. And then been writing some Ragnarok and Westeros stuff, getting kind of a next video prepared for that. That'll probably be out next week. And I'll probably have one of those every 2 weeks, because those are going to be bigger videos.
Outstanding.
And yeah, we're going to talk about Odin and Bloodraven and stuff like that. But I haven't had as many videos lately. I've been dealing with some family things, and one of my friends is very sick. She's they got cancer, unfortunately, and she's not doing well. So I've been kind of just there's been just some real crap that has been happening lately, and with this weather and all that kind of affects your mind. And you got to take care of your mental health first and foremost. With all these things usually happen at once, and they compound themselves, right? So losing sleep over that, but I promise. I mean, hype train is going full speed ahead, regardless. People, we're starting to really get closer to Game of Thrones. Like what? Like 100 days?
4 months. Yeah, 140 something.
110 days or something like that. So something like that will be going down. But yeah, really excited, man, to get the hype train going. But chat, ask us some questions. Let's get some Q&A going down here.
Aren't you pregnant too? That is a great question, AU Pack Mule. Kyle, are you pregnant from Boat Sex 2.0?
Yeah, definitely. I'm expecting twins. I'm expecting twins.
As a castle, or
Corn still, it's a mess around the castle. Okay, so Michael Smith from Australia. What's going on, my man? It was like Lord Stark and Queen Alysanne's greeting from Fire and Blood. Very, very interesting that you find those parallels. JR, do you think that we can kind of make a parallel of Jon to Jaehaerys
and absolutely, and Queen Alysanne? Yes, there's a fair amount of it, and I see
and also Jon and his sisters, Visenya being more like,
oh god, that's brought up some of the worst stuff in the fandom, though. Just because of Blood and Fire, everybody is shipping Jon and Sansa and Arya. I'm like, oh, if I see another one of those, I'm just going to cringe. Not that I value everybody's opinion when it comes to theorizing and stuff, but that one's even far for me to reach with tinfoil. I don't know if I can do it.
So let's scroll up here. There's Winterfell is yours, your grace. So we spoke about this a little bit earlier. For those of you that are kind of just joining us now, you think that is Sansa in reference to Jon, the way the scene is chopped, right? I think that that's a possibility too. Either way, it's a greeting you usually have when you're a vassal and a king or a queen is returning.
Right.
Q&A. Bill's Bombier. Will we see a flashback to the Battle of the Trident or Attorney in Harrenhal? Do we see any flashbacks of that nature going back to Ned Stark at all? Do we see any young Ned? Do we see any young Howland Reed?
I think there's going to be flashbacks again, certainly with Bran, and now having more knowledge and information with Sam there, with what Jon knows, what Daenerys knows. I mean, they're going to go back to certain points in time and find stuff. And I really want Howland at the God's Eye, or at least in the neck. One of the two. He's got to be somewhere, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think we got to get some version of Howland for sure. It could be through a flashback.
Let me throw out a little tinfoil.
Okay.
Hang on a second.
I'm reading the chat. There's some funny comments.
Oh, of course there is. I got my tinfoil on now. Wouldn't it be something? And I can't remember who brought this up first, but this is not my own theory. This is something I read, and it was on GeekChat1, I believe. And somebody had mentioned, what if the battle for the night and for King's Landing happens at the neck. So basically opening up a two-front war in the neck, right? Cersei attacks from the south, the Army of the Dead coming from the north, and Cersei gets killed in the neck. How poetic would that be, right?
I don't see her leaving King's Landing, though. I think that she's going to end up paranoid, mad king, crazy, shutting the gates of King's Landing.
And I agree. That's why I said tinfoil. But
yeah.
wouldn't that be sweet? Just poetry right there.
You're going based
the strangle in the neck.
You're going based on the visual cues we saw from the Jaime Cersei map scene from last season.
Right, her standing on the neck, and then also the Voluncar theory for or prophecy. You know, the neck. So it's neck.
And also the symbolic trailer we got a little while back where we have, you know, the kind of dragon glass wall being made, a new wall. That's kind of interesting too. We do see the ice get
and there's a parallel. And what if Jaime defeats Cersei's army at his command? Then the Valonqar is Jaime, and he defeated Cersei, not killing her, but choking out her forces at the neck, which gives him a clean ride to King's Landing to depose her on the throne.
We got an awesome question from Urtach.
Urtach, my man, what's going on?
I want a full surprise episode with flashbacks. I'm dreaming, I know, but a 7th and last episode. Yeah, that would be really interesting. Maybe
there we go.
I think, you know what, Urtach? I think we might get like 8 to 10 minutes, something on the Night King and the White Walkers. I think we have to get that at least. Like 10 good minutes on the Children of the Forest and the Night King and Bran going, or Azor Ahai in relation to all of that, you know, something like that. Because even though we're getting the prequel, we know it's going to be mostly based on the Long Night, or it seems like it's going to be. We still have to get some. We have to get some payoff in season 8. I don't think they can ignore that.
Ice Fury, Bronn and Podrick went off for a drink. Did they ever return?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they went back to wherever they needed to be after the drink and talking about Podrick's magic wand.
Katrine wants to know which reunion we're going to be most excited for. I mean, Jon and Arya is the obvious one, right?
Yeah, that one's going to be huge. I really hope, and we've talked about this in videos before, that I really hope it takes place in Arya's bedroom because she's conspicuously missing from the courtyard, right?
I'm actually most excited for Jaime and Bran getting together.
Yes, that one is going to be pretty epic.
I think that people are going to, it's going to be, because all right, we know the Jaime is Azor Ahai theory that's been spoke about. I'm not the first one to talk about this, but I do have my own version on the channel. There's something weird. The whole Fenrir Tyr thing in Norse mythology. There's something there, right? You know,
there is, and I just like the golden hand knife handing down White Walkers.
Yep.
I still think that's hilarious. Just like walking around bitch slapping White Walkers across the face would be great.
Terry, so chat chiming in, of course. Thank you. Please make sure you leave. John and Ghost says Robbie Neeson. I love that. We got to get more dire wolves. We need more dire wolves. John and Arya, yeah. We know that. Tyrion and Sansa says Pandora Targaryen. That was mentioned earlier in the chat. Tyrion and Sansa, both their strengths are kind of similar. You know what I mean? So them kind of maybe becoming a duo again. And Tyrion said that he never harmed Sansa. So that's something that we have to remember. Arya and Gendry.
Yeah, that's going to be another great one.
Jaime will tell Bran how Brandon and Rickard died.
Jaime and Brienne?
Yeah. Damn.
I mean, there's so many reunions that are just going to be so...
Sandor and the girls.
Awesomely awesome. I don't even know. Yeah, Sandor and both girls. Brienne and Sandor again, which we kind of got last season, so that one's kind of already done.
I don't think we're going to see Arya reunited with Nymeria. We could have the super pack like
in the neck.
In the neck. We could, like, if they're retreating from, like, they could like come buy them some time or something like that.
Yeah, and I could see that happening.
CC Star Q&A. Will Dany be trusting of Sansa or weary? I don't see a reason for her to be untrusting of Sansa. I think that they're going to have a conversation, whether they agree on things or not. They may get along better than we think. Okay. And we got to remember that Sansa, got very little amount of time being comfortable at Winterfell again. Then she has to go south again. Something that she's not going to want to do, man. I mean, remember what happened to her in the south last time? So that's kind of my thoughts on it. I think that they're throwing us for a little bit of a, they do this with trailers a lot.
Yeah, it's a red herring that there's going to be all this drama and stuff. She's yielding the castle back to Jon, in my opinion.
Ooh, Mama Ogre, great question, JR. Which of the meetings can end up being the most chaotic or destructive?
Jon and Bran.
Jon and Bran. Okay, well, I mean,
revealing that he's a Targaryen.
Yeah, definitely.
And Sam will be there for that one.
Winterfell. Yeah, Lauren. I can't wait to see the Winterfell hall scene. That's where Jon's going to get the reveal in front of everyone. I don't think it's going to happen.
I'm just saying that it'll be in the courtyard and not in the great hall is where he's going to tell everybody that he's bent the knee. That's just my personal opinion on that one. There's no political reasoning to do it in the courtyard before everything happens. I would rather see it done in the Great Hall with the liege lords and seeing who's going to oppose him and seeing who's going to come to his aid, so to speak, and who's going to back him, bending the knee to Daenerys because we need it. Everybody is Kyle locked up in the chat. Can somebody let me know? Or is it just me? If somebody wants to hit me on Messenger really quick, if he's, for some reason, it looks like he's locked, but I'm not sure. Okay, so he is locked. So we'll just keep rolling around for right now. Hopefully Kyle will get back into this. What other questions did we got in the chat? Yes, Kyle is locked up. I can't see him either now. Okay, cool. I really want to see, because Jon's made good with quite a few Lords of the North, especially from House Umber and Karstark, and not holding the children accountable for the sins of the father. Glover as well. And they will definitely keep him, or keep favor with him, and not depose him when he announces that he's bent the knee to Daenerys. So I think that's going to be a really interesting dynamic to see who stays with him and who stays away from him. Scott McClure, what about Brienne? Her look was very odd. I don't know that it's really odd. I think it's kind of Brienne's skeptical look of assessing what's actually happening. She's not a player in the game per se, but she does have a pretty keen eye to see what is going on, and she's consistently in the right place. So I think that's her looking worrisome or puzzled and wondering how this is going to play out. That's just my thoughts on it, Scott. Lauren's Corner. Don't forget to like and subscribe her channel as well. And Chrissy of Old Stones, if you haven't done that yet, they both do great readings, from poetry to Strangelove, all sorts of stuff, Grim Fairy Tales. So go and give them a like and a shout out on their pages. How do you think Arya will react to the dragons? I'm not sure how they're going to react to Arya. And Nicola asked the same question of Gendry. How is the dragons going to react to Gendry? Gendry does have Targaryen blood. The Baratheons in antiquity were married into the Targaryen line. I don't know how they're going to react to him either. They could really go any direction with it, and I'd be okay with it one way or the other. Where is Varys currently? Sack. Varys is probably still on Dragonstone at this point. I don't think he made the trip with Jon and Dany via boat. He might be with the Unsullied and Dothraki coming up by land. Not entirely sure, but he's between Dragonstone and Winterfell. He won't get there in probably episode 2. When Jaime arrives, somewhere right in that time, because I personally believe that Jaime and Bronn are going to catch up with everybody in the second episode at Winterfell when they're making battle preparations for the Night's Watch. Is JR stuttering video feed for anybody else? Oh, am I stuttering in the video feed? I shouldn't be. I've got like super hot connection here. How explosive will Arya and Gendry's meeting be? Mama Ogre, I think that it'll be a great reunion scene between them. I like it. I'm good with it. I want them to have some chemistry and some sparks. And, you know, they had some great dialogue back in earlier seasons. Like, I could be your family. You know, the pact that she's chosen versus the pact that is hers by blood. Interesting. I think it works. Varys is going to beat them all there because he's a merman. Oh, come on, Prince of One is promised. He is not a merman. Get out of here with that. Peg Leg Pete, how we doing? I'm in your city now. I officially moved to Vegas for those people that don't know. Sarah Bright Roar, what are your thoughts on the meeting between Dany and Arya? I think that'll be a little bit interesting, but Arya is always going to back Jon regardless, just because and I'm getting confused by Sasek, maybe not Sasek, either one, whatever works. Not distracted by that one. There might be some sparks there, but Arya is always going to back Jon no matter what. Jon is her boy. Those two are totally tight. Helen, thank you for joining us. Where is Kyle Lisi? He's in the middle of a blizzard in the north right now, so I've taken over the reins, and we're going to run this hype train down to the convention. Wait, people live in Vegas? Who knew? Yes, Tubbs. Yes, people live in Vegas. How will the newly arrived respond to the news that they executed Littlefinger for treason? I don't think that it'll be that big of a deal, honestly. Executing Littlefinger, he was a player that needed to be off the board anyway, so I don't really see that as being too big of a deal. Jon might not agree with how it was done. He might be relatively pissed about it, but it was done in front of a bunch of lords, and they were holding full court, so I don't think there's really much he could complain about. Sorry, y'all taking a quick breather there. I'm resending Kyle the link so he can get back in with us. All right, so I just sent Kyle the link, so he should be joining us back here in a minute. Let's see. Sasaka. Sack is not a normal name. This blizzard from Winter Hell. Yep. Okay, so everybody's in there. Prince it wasn't promised. Roger that. Chrissy of Old Storms. Gig 'em. Scott McCloy. Gig 'em. Littlefinger was done. Execution was done the right way. Mark PJF 85. Yeah, I agree. I think he was summarily executed in a fair manner, and I don't think he was going to demand trial by combat. I don't know why Ned didn't think of that, but that's a whole different story. The move went great. Thanks, Mama Ogre. Thanks for asking. What other questions do we got? What other reunions do you guys really want to see? Wait, Talamasca who didn't get that far off the trail? Hey guys, are we still on air? Because there's some weird things going on the back end of YouTube right now. Chrissy, can you tell me if we're still on screen or if Kyle's joining? Hey, George Turner, glad to see you. Arya and Barrack, yes, that'll be a little bit tumultuous given everything that's happened. That'll be very, very interesting. Pandora Targaryen, thank you. We're good. Okay, we're good. All right, so Kyle should be joining us back here in a second. It looks like he's coming back on. Is Sansa going to use the fact that Jon is Targaryen to have the Northerners on her side? Nicola, no, I don't think so. I think that's part of the made-up drama that they want you to believe, but I think it's a red herring. Mara J. Skywalker, thank you. Mama Ogre, everybody's great. Ghost in Nymeria, Ice Fury. I would love to see that. I don't know that we will. And if we do, it'll probably be down in the neck would be my guess. If you heard my little tinfoil theory just a second ago, it was pretty good. Tormund, the Hound, and Brienne. Oh, yeah, a little live triangle. Sarah Brightroar wants the love triangle going on with the Hound. That would be interesting. Oh, so you do know her, the big woman. Yeah, want to make little warriors. Jon and Sam, of course, is going to be awesome. Scott, you're absolutely correct on that. Like, I couldn't agree more. Man, what are some of the obscure ones that we're missing of people who haven't seen each other in a long time? I'm trying to think. Like Jaime and Jorah, that'll be interesting, I suppose, because they fought together on Pike. They fought together at multiple places before he went into exile for slaving. So Jorah and Jaime might have a little quipping back and forth. Beric Dondarrion and Jaime, along with Ser Jorah Mormont, those ones will all be interesting as well. I don't think Gendry and Hot Pie are going to meet. I think Gendry is going to be in Winterfell, and Hot Pie will be at the end of the crossroads. As Jon met Drogon in season 7. Whoop, gotta go scroll back up. Will we see Ghost meeting Jon? I wonder if the pregnancy will be revealed by him. Mark, another great observation. I think Dany will have a mirroring to meeting Ghost, just like we had with seeing everything.
Oh, you hear me or see me?
Yeah, I see you. You're good, man.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
What?
Yeah,
you figured it out.
So let the chat let us know if you can see and hear Kyle too. Let's get that going. So yes, I think we will see a mirror of Drogon and Jon with Daenerys and Ghost. I think that will happen.
Okay, they can hear me. We can at least continue.
Yes, we can continue the hype podcast that was promised. Oh, they said Chrissy says can't hear you.
Can hear but not see.
Oh, is that what she said?
Okay.
We can't see Kyle, but we can hear him. Okay, well,
all right. At least we got audio. So what?
Yeah,
so
we got audio. We're all right.
I don't know. It locked me out forever. I don't know. It's weird. There is a really, really bad storm out here. People were getting 25 centimeters of snow today. So, yeah.
And for those of us in America, that means approximately 2 feet.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll interpret it.
Whoa, throwing some shade. All right. Yeah, Helen is also stuck in a blizzard.
Yeah, I saw the picture that she posted this morning in our group chat. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm stuck in a snowstorm on the Autobahn. Helen, get home safe and let us know when you get home, please. No gin on the road. So we just kind of went through the chats answering everybody's questions about pretty much everything. So that's kind of where we're at the moment. Do you think we'll get an appearance from Jack and Hagar this season from Sesek?
Yeah, I think we're getting him.
I think we will too. I don't think you can leave that big of a character hanging out there without revealing something or the greater plan of what the Iron Bank is going for or what the Faceless Men are ultimately seeking.
Cognac's better for snowstorms. I got some 40 Creek whiskey, which is really good in the back.